concept of universal family comes when you look at the world from a very zoomed out perspective, broad perspective. Whenever we looked at the big picture in the world, you will see how we're all beautifully related. So this universal family is when we start to realize that each and every one of us are very deeply related to one another. And that vision requires one to have higher consciousness. When we look at the world from the lens of our heart, then we are able to see the beautiful relationships and the connections that we have with everyone in the world. So how to have this vision of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means that we are all children of God, one big family. And at the same time, maintain our little families. So how to look at the world from a macro perspective and a micro perspective. So in the yoga, we understand, from the yoga philosophy, we understand that all relationships in this world, there is something called an immediate family that is closely related to what we call blood relationships. And then you will notice there is something called intellectual brotherhood, that people you just connect with intellectually or emotionally. And spiritual family or universal family means when we are able to connect with everyone from the heart. So now, in saying this, you may also notice that there are so many different groups and societies of people and organizations and institutions. How do they fit into this universal family, and what should be our relationship with them? Like, for example, the Catholics don't get along with the Protestants. The Shia Muslims don't get along with the Sunni Muslims. And, the Sikhs don't get along with, the Khalistanis. So in this way, there is constant strife between different groups. Why is that? And how do we see our role, and how to look at that from a universal perspective? Why should there be any strife between the Dutch and the French, the Flemish and the French, or the Germans and the French, and Germans and the rest of the world? Why should there this conflict? Why should there be such conflict? All this separation, segregation, and conflict is simply there because we have zoomed in to our narrow identification with a particular institution or a group. So it really helps once you understand that we are all children of God. We are all the same, and we have unique contributions in this world and unique opportunities to connect and help others grow with us. So in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a beautiful verse. It says, Yanti Deva, anyway, the Sanskrit is very beautiful, where it says that you should worship whoever you want. Depending on what you want in life, you must follow a particular path. It's so detailed that there is 33 million energetic gods in Hinduism, and in Vedic scriptures we read about them. And whatever you want in life, you want someone to give you good wealth, there is someone that you can go to. If you want a beautiful wife, then you have someone to go to. You want a beautiful husband, there is someone, and some mantras. There is a unique process that you can follow for whatever it is in particular that you want in life. So even though we are all universally connected to each and every one, there is still room for personal and individual quest and search in life. For example, those who like to be rich, they worship Lakshmi Devi. Those who want their obstacles removed, then they worship Ganesh or Narasimha. Those who want beautiful husbands, they worship Katyayani Devi. So in this way, there are so many different specific paths for a specific achievement in the material world. The most powerful aspect of achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve in life is the principle of loyalty. So loyalty is our secondary topic we're going to discuss right now. What is loyalty? Where does it come from? How is it this quality that helps you to access whatever it is that you're looking for? Loyalty to whatever it is that you want. If you have this quality, you'll be successful in anything that you want to accomplish, that you want to achieve in life. It helps to be the guiding light for all decisions and actions in life. It's a commitment to the heart, and it is the exercise of willful actions, and it's based on your character and not on the intensity of emotions. So this is what loyalty can do to you. It can guide you in a proper direction. It can be a roadmap. All your decisions and actions, there will be tremendous clarity and force. And it's based on the character of the person and not on the emotions or the intensity of emotions. So this is what loyalty does. It can get you to achieve anything and everything in this world if you simply understand and practice this principle of loyalty. So these are some of the things that if you have loyalty, you will notice that loyalty does not betray. Loyalty means no betrayal. And you don't abandon when there is loyalty. There is no character assassination. When you're loyal to someone, you don't speak bad about that person. And loyalty means you don't give up, especially when there's misunderstandings between. You will notice that loyalty doesn't always make a lot of economic sense. Sometimes it's irrational and foolish because it's operating from a higher frequency of being, higher consciousness of being. So if you analyze in your life, if you feel that everyone in your life betrays you or abandons you, then one must ask the question, why is it that? You will notice that those qualities may be something that you live by. And that is why those are the same qualities that you experience from others. If we are not loyal to ourselves and our hearts, why should anyone else be loyal to you? If we're not committed to our hearts, why should anyone else commit to us? If we beat ourselves down, I'm such a bad person, I cannot do this, I'm useless. If you beat yourself down and assassinate your own character, why shouldn't someone else do it? So yoga is explaining that one has to understand what loyalty means and how loyalty to the self is extremely critical. Because from that space, then everything around you starts to interact with you. If you look at yourself and you see, why are people deceiving me? Why are people manipulating me? Why am I seeing greed outside? Why do I see corruption? Why do I see competition? Why do I see selfishness? So the most important thing is to first understand whatever it is that we are experiencing in ourselves is because we have not been practicing loyalty to the self. Some people are loyal to their country. Some people are loyal to their language. Some people are loyal to their religion. You'll notice when people are just loyal to their religion and nothing else, then there's some other chaos. And when there are people just loyal to their country, then you get nationalism, you know. I had a friend growing up. He was a very intelligent boy in the monastery growing up with me. And he would always, in his mind, think that there was some better teacher out there for him. And if anyone came to him, yes, you know, I met this teacher, he's very good. And this friend of mine would go to that teacher and get initiated. And then after that, he would come back, and then someone else gave him another proposition. He would go to another teacher, and he would just keep going from one teacher to another, hoping that he's going to find something. I just met him in Vrindavan on our trip last year. I met him in the restaurant, and he has gone through about 11 teachers, and now he has no teacher. And he is still lost. He is still looking for a teacher, looking for a guru. So if anybody wants to be a guru, I have a recommendation for a student for you. So this is what happens when we don't understand the principle of loyalty to the heart. That we're constantly looking for more options or better options, or thinking that someone else is going to solve all your problems. But the reality is gurus and teachers are not there to solve your problems. They are simply there to teach you and show you your beautiful self so that you can fall in love and practice your loyalty. I have many students and many disciples. I have never once told anyone that I'm going to solve all your problems. Rather, I simply am very clear that as your teacher, as your guru, my responsibility is simply to help you to find yourself and teach you how to be loyal to yourself, because it is your constitutional nature to be loyal. It's your nature. You cannot change. But who should you be loyal to? To your heart, to your spiritual identity, and not someone out there thinking that they're going to chant some mantras and solve your problems. And only when you have loyalty to yourself, then you can have relationships of loyalty towards others, because it is a relationship of two hearts. And then you realize when there is loyalty, there is such beautiful reciprocity, you know, reciprocal. And that relationship of loyalty between two people or in a community, it becomes unbreakable because it is a connection and a relationship of the heart. And this goes for the same when we're worshiping a certain deity or through a certain mantra, and we have our personal spiritual sadhana. That means it has given us the opportunity to practice our loyalty to the self. Sadhana is a practice of loyalty to the self. Sangha is a practice of loyalty to the self. You're connecting with other loyal-hearted people, people who communicate from the heart. It's a very deep spiritual principle, and there's so much emphasis done. Humility and loyalty are the two parallel tracks of any yogi's life. To the degree we are loyal to ourselves, to that degree you'll be surrounded with people who are going to have deep, loyal relationships with you, and the community as well. If we hold on to our value will hold us together. It's explained in the yoga, dharmam rakshati dharma. If you hold on to your value will protect you. If you have no value in your life, Arjuna, you'll lose your identity. You'll be so lost. And many people who are lost in this world is because they have forgot their value. So, and people always wants to take you and use you, right? Because that's the world, how it works. But if you hold on to your value, meaning you're loyal to yourself, then no one can take you away. You will always remain whole. You'll always remain complete. You will never have moment of sadness or loneliness because you're holding on to something that is your worth. Loyalty is what we normally were born with, but then we lost it. So we have to regain and find that loyalty again. That is almost like regaining and rediscovering yourself, your spiritual self. That is what loyalty, it's a process.
Et
And
tu
there
vas
are
voir,
companies who are there for hundreds of years and they're still strong because it's guided by certain values. So if our life is guided by certain values, then you will flourish. And once you find your value, then you have to hold on to that value. This is where the loyalty is. It's very, very important. Loyalty is based on experience, intelligence, and blind faith is uninformed, emotional, sentimental connection. Emotion, sentimentalism, and there's no involvement of knowledge, of intelligence. I met a student, and the student said, I have a guru. And I said, oh, that's so nice. How did you know he was your guru? And the student said, I just felt it. And I said, why did you feel? He said, he had a long hair, beard, and a turban. And I just felt that he was my guru. And so that's how I know he was my guru. This is called blind faith, and you'll end up in a ditch. Huh? And they don't even speak the same language. But they feel the connection. Like they feel maybe this is it because he looks it. So whenever any decision is made just for looks, it looks good, feels good. Yes, it's important. Looks good, feels good. Let us investigate what this is. And then you use intelligence to ask questions, to attend sanghas, you listen to them, and then you observe them, and then you cultivate a relationship, and eventually you surrender. And that's when the loyalty is established. One of my students, he has a guru. And I said, how did you find your guru? He said, well, my guru has 4 million Instagram followers. If there's 4 million people following him on Instagram, then he must be authentic and therefore he's my guru. And intelligence means you get to know that person, you establish a relationship, you meet with that person, you are asking questions to that person, and you develop a relationship. And that person, then you start to feel, okay, this person is legitimate person. This person is the right fit to guide me in my spiritual life. That is
et donc,
called loyalty. And from there, because you have used intelligence, then you can invest your loyalty. Otherwise, it becomes sentimentality and it becomes blind faith. When we practice loyalty, it is never one-sided. It is always two-sided. That when you're loyal to someone, that automatically they feel that and they become loyal to you. And the principal connection in the loyalty is spirituality. It's a deep connection of a higher purpose. And that is what spiritual loyalty means. As a teacher, I find that my biggest ambition is simply to help you to find yourself and your inner power and place you in that place and be there for you and with you to go on this journey. And this is what my daily meditation and my ambition is as a teacher. And that's also what unconditional love is, this deep loyalty to each other's hearts, and it's connected by a spiritual relationship. It is nothing material and nothing mundane, but it's a deep spiritual love to support and help another person grow, to be themselves and support their foundation to make sure that they never are alone and you're always there for them. And through all struggles and difficulties, because that is what loyalty means, that it is unbreakable. And our loyalty will always be tested because, today we are loyal and then someone will say, oh, have you met this person? This person can do miracles, can create ash from the sky, or can create gold from your hair, or some miracles that, and then it'll test your loyalty. Do you or how loyal are you to your own spiritual practice and your spiritual relationships, that you're ready to dump it all to go for some magic tricks. So our loyalty will always be tested, just like in marriage. You'll notice there will always be beautiful guys and beautiful girls who are more handsome or more beautiful than your partners. And you get to look at it. What do you do? Do you say, I'm sorry, I see someone more beautiful than you, I gotta, move on? Or do you say, no, our relationship is very deep, it's not going anywhere. Doesn't matter which beautiful person or handsome guy comes in, it doesn't make a difference. And how to cultivate it, it is the question you asked is, it is something that is always happening continuously by being very authentic with one another. It's always being authentic and genuine with each other in our exchanges, in our sharing of unconditional love. We're always authentic. Yeah, that means you have to go and have a dialogue with them and try to establish your genuine relationship again, because loyalty will always be tested. It's not something that is granted. Loyalty is the biggest problem that is lacking in this world. If you feel like you're breaching the loyalty, then you approach them and say, hey, Krista, I just want to let you know that I told you that I will not eat any sugar, but I was in Amsterdam, and there was this beautiful croissant store, and there was just sweets everyone was enjoying. I could not keep my promise, and I walked in and I bought myself a whole tray of croissants, and I just sat there and I just ate it all myself. So I'm sorry I couldn't keep my word to you, and because it's a breach of trust. So therefore you have to always acknowledge whenever there is a breach and reestablish that reconnection. So that is what is recommended. And please understand, loyalty does not mean that you're not going to make mistakes. It doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect. It doesn't mean you're going to be 100% loyal from day one. It is something that we have to meditate on. We have to start cultivating. We have to start valuing, and you have to start practicing that to yourself. Otherwise, why would anyone else be loyal to you if you're not loyal to yourself? See, your personal practice, it's your connection with yourself. At one point I stopped doing many hours of sadhana. I was only doing 2 hours. Now I'm doing again 6 hours every day. From 3 a.m. till, at 9 a.m. I'm doing sadhana every day. Because I realized that, Veda, your heart is more precious than anything in this world, and you need to spend time with your sadhana. So you can roadmap what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and it could be any time. While you're eating, while you're with your dog, while you're petting him, you can still journal. You don't need, somehow or other, to always be connected to yourself is a big part of sadhana. And the minute you disconnect from yourself, you will realize eventually you will become so disconnected from yourself. Yoga explains that. There's nothing more important than you. There's nothing you can do in this world that is more important than you. And so the self has to be the main focus. How do I rediscover myself?
Yeah.